Hey, how's it going? My name's Joe. This is the first real stream we're trying out here on Beluga Bliss Games. A warm Twitch welcome to you. I'm going to be troubleshooting a lot here. Hopefully it works. Hopefully the sound works. If anything is no good, please just share in the comments. I'm so excited to share some stuff with you because this started back during this whole pandemic. I was thinking, what's a way that I could give back? I love board games, love game design, and so I started making these free roll and writes. And I made a couple of them. So I thought it would be fun to go ahead and just stream them. A lot of folks are at home, a lot of folks can't be with their friends, and so let's play some games together. I've got the link right up here, this QR code. If you want to click that, that'll take you to the download for tonight's game, which is Super Dice Heroes, which I'll give just a few minutes here for folks to get that. And let me share in the comments the links for that. All right, there's a link for the game. Here's a link for the rules. So much of this too, since these games are free, part of what I'm doing is calling it Games for Good. And the hope is that if you are able, instead of paying for this game, you get to play it for free. And if you're able to support some other folks, that's the idea. So I want to shout out World Central Kitchen tonight. You can give to them at wck.org. Games for Good. So you can support them. All right, let me start to explain this game to us. I've got our table set up. Oh my gosh, it's happening. All right, it's real. All right, Cody, thanks for being here, buddy. I appreciate you. So you got to start somewhere, right? Okay, let me explain this game, Super Dice Heroes. You are a superhero, and you are trying to save the city. So you're going to travel to some different locations here. You're going to defeat minions. You're going to try to save citizens, and you're going to save the day. So if you get, I've got these 4 dice that I'll be rolling, and we're going to use those dice all together. And you just need some sort of marker to move around the city. You're actually going to move your little meeple or your little figure around the city, so it has some movement in it. We're going to play over 10 rounds. So I'll roll these 4 dice, and then we'll write those numbers up here in the corner, and then you get to choose how to allocate those dice. So you can do, with each die, you can do one of 2 things. You can move your superhero, or you can help where that superhero is. So if you could, say, move to this area, and then spend other dice to help in that area. The way movement works is you can move. You can spend the number of a die and move to that area. So if I have a 2, I could spend that and move my superhero to go into the 2 area. The other way you can spend dice to move is if you are in an area that matches that number, you can go anywhere. So I could spend a 2 if I was in the 2 area to go to any location. Cool. So that's how movement works. You can move as many times as you want on a turn as long as you're spending a die each time to do that. The other thing you can do is you can help. If you're in a certain location, you can spend dice to help people there. And each of these 6 areas has a certain criteria, kind of mini game that you're trying to work. So in this area up here, if you had a 1 or a 2 or a 3, you could spend that and then cross off the corresponding number there. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. So that's those, and then we'll just do that over 10 turns. Let me explain what the different areas are, and then you're going to get to make a superhero, which is my favorite part of the game. So over here at 1, we have City Hall. Now in City Hall, what you're trying to do is you're trying to fill this grid here by marking X's on a matching die. So if you rolled a 1, right, you can mark off any one of these 1s, 2, any one of the 2s, 3, any one of the 3s. If you fill one of the rows or one of the columns, you get the star, which are victory points, honor in this game. You're trying to get the most honor. Also, if you fill it in diagonally here, it has this symbol, which is a wild die. And also, if you fill all 9 spaces, you rescue a bystander. Now let me explain what those are. Down here at the bottom are wild dice. When you unlock one, you just circle it, and then you can spend it at any time just by crossing it off. The same is true for the bystander, that when you rescue them, you circle it. Bystanders at the end of the game are only points, so it's just 5 bonus points. You're trying to rescue these citizens in the city. The wild dice are not any points. You spend them to add a bonus die, and that die can be any number, and it's in addition to your other dice. So it doesn't change the die, it actually is adding an extra die to it. There's these other symbols here, these guys here. There are these robot minions. There are 3 robot minions in every area. And when you defeat one of those, you can spend any die number to defeat a robot minion. And when you do that, you cross off 1 down here, and each robot minion is worth 1 bonus point. In all honesty, you want to do that as little as possible because it's only 1 point, and there's lots of other ways to get points. But just in case you get stuck somewhere and you want to stay there, you could spend one of your dice to defeat one of the robot minions to stay in that space for the next area, for the next round. All right, that's 1 right here in City Hall. 2 is the hospital. Here you're trying to get the same number pairs. You can see there are 5 places to put number pairs. So, and you can start anywhere and you can continue anywhere. So say I put a 3 in this space, then I want to have it match up here with another 3. I could do another group of 3, or I could do a 2 or a 1. You just want to pair them up with the same number. If you do a pair on these, it's 4 victory points for each one. You could choose to jump over here, and if you complete that pair, it's worth 2 victory points and a wild die. As you can tell, there are robot minions there as well. All right, let's look at 3. 3 is the downtown. This, you're trying to ascend this tower, this building in the downtown, and it has this symbol for number. You're trying to have the same number all along here. The first number can be any number you want, but once you set that number, it needs to be that number for the rest of your ascent up. If you see though, once you hit certain points along there, you rescue bystanders, and also if you get further up at the top, you will get a wild die. And then the stars over to the right of it are what you will earn at the end of the game for how high you went up the tower. All right, that's 3. 4 is the power plant down here. In this one, you start at the leftmost square and you're going to work your way to the right. Again, just like in the last one, this first space can be any number, but once it's set, then you're going to look at the next numbers, and it has to be either 1 greater or 1 less than that. So let's say I put a 2 in there to start. The next time I want to put a number in there, it would have to be a 1 or a 3. Let's say I put a 3. And the next number would have to be a 4 or a 2. And again, there are wild dice that you unlock and victory points below for how far you go. All right, number 5, over here we have the warehouse. The warehouse, again, you start at the leftmost square, but in this one, the next number that you write, it has to be equal to or higher than the previous number. So you want to try to put some low numbers in there to start so that it gives you options. If you put a 1 in here, then the next number could be a 1 or higher. So a number. But say you put a 4 here, then the next number would have to be a 4, 5, or a 6. So you want to try to have it be equal to, or it has to be equal to or greater, but you want to try to keep it low so you have options along the way. The last space is the church over here, number 6. And this, you're just trying to fill these spaces. If you fill an entire column, it's 15 victory points here. That's 1 through 6. Here's the same thing, it's just backwards 6 through 1. If you fill this, it's like 15 victory points. You can mark X's anywhere you want along there, so you could start with the 4 and then do this 5 and do this 1. Doesn't have to be in any order, but you only get the points if you complete it, those rows. Also, if you get the top 6 here, if you complete that, you get a bonus wild die. If you complete the bottom 6 here, you rescue a bystander. Cool? All right, that's 1 through 6. If you have questions, say so in the comments, and hopefully I can answer them. So that's how the main way the game works. Now, here's what is so fun, is up here at the top, if you can see, we've got some of these super powers that we're going to talk about. The way we start the game is I'll roll 2 dice, and then from those you get to choose one superpower for your superhero to have. Then we're going to name our superhero, and you get to draw a little picture, decorate it as you want, give him a costume. And if you look underneath this superhero, it has 3 of these boxes. That is how much power this superhero is able to exert. So you can use their superpower 3 times throughout a game. You can use it whenever. You can use multiples in a single turn. Let me say too, back up to the wild dice. I said that you could use those whenever also, and you can use multiples in a single turn too. So you could save them up all for your last turn and spend them all on your last turn too. So your superhero has 3 uses of their superpowers. Let me say what those 6 superpowers are. We'll go from left to right here. The first one here is Shrink. That lets you change a die to a 1. So one of the dice that were rolled from that round, you could spend your superhero power and then make it go all the way down to a 1. That works really well for this area here and then this area down here, the warehouse, because you want low numbers for those. Or maybe you had a 1 up here already and you want to match it, so then you can shrink one of your dice down to a 1. The 2 here is Teleport. It helps with your travel around the city. It lets you, when you spend it, you use a die to travel to any location. So maybe you have a great roll that's going to be awesome. Maybe it's a bunch of 6s. It's 4 6s, and you want to come over here and ascend this tower, but you don't have a 3, so you could teleport with one of those 6 dice and then use the other 3 to go up the tower. That's how teleport works. It just makes it easier to move around. This next one is Ice. You have ice powers. It lets you decrease a die by 1. So if it was a die that was a 4, you could make it into a 3. You could spend it twice, and you could turn it into a 2, I guess. That's how that works. Ice. The next one is Fire, and it's just the opposite of Ice. It lets you increase a die by 1. And then number 5 here is Shapeshift. That lets you change one die to the same number of another die that was rolled that round. Cool? And then the last superhero power is it lets you change a die to a 6. It's to grow. Instead of shrink, it's grow. All right. We did it. Those are all the rules, I promise. So to get going, make sure that you have some sort of character to move around. They always start in the middle. We're going to roll 2 dice just to start here. And this will be our starting options for our superheroes. So it's a 5 and a 6. So your choice for this round is you can either have the ability of Shapeshift or the ability to grow. What should I do? I don't know. I think I'm going to be a Shapeshifter. That sounds fun to me. And let's see. I'm going to be the Chameleon. I'm going to draw a little doodle here of a big C on his chest here. All right. Maybe I'll have some long flowing hair. That seems good, right? Too cool for school. All right. I've got my superhero. We need to add a C here on his back too, don't we? The polygon. I love it. Very good. All right. How are we looking? Everyone feel good to go? All right. Awesome. Cool. All right. If you're ready to roll, I'm ready to start rolling. Yes, you can. Good question. Good question, Cody. So if you're in an area, you can spend as many dice as you want to there. So let's pretend like my roll was this 2, 2, 5, 6. I could say move here to 6 with that 6, and I could spend a 2, and a 5 there. Or I could move there with the 6, spend a 2 and a 2, and then move with the 5. So you can use those as much as you want. It's just that each die can only be used once each turn, either as a move or as a help. Cool? All right. I'm excited. This is my first stream. I'm feeling all the feels. I'm so excited. Thanks for joining in. Again, here's the QR code up here in the corner. If you want to scan that, you can play along. Would love for you to. I've got several other roll and writes I'm looking to stream on Thursdays for the future. All right, I think we can do it. Crew, let's do it. Best of luck. Oh my, I hope you can save the city. All right, our first roll here is a 1, a 3, a 4, and a 6. So I'll write that up here, 1, 3, 4, 6. So you go ahead and you use those same numbers, and at the end of the game, we'll see who has the highest score from using the same numbers. All right. Well, I might go to church. I think I'm going to go over here to the church. So I'll spend the 6 to move, and then I'm going to spend a 1, 3, and a 4. I think I'm going to cross all off in the same... You know what? I want to get that wild die. So I'm going to cross off like that. All right. So I'm hanging out at church. Very good. I'll give you all just a second to catch up here. Don't want to move too fast. Thanks for watching, crew. If you're here, give a shout here in the comments. You must be doing something right. Either we're both wrong. All right, let's go to round 2. We've got 1, 3, 4, 4. Similar roll. I think I'm going to keep hanging here. Do as much as I can. So I'm going to do, let's see, this 1 and the 3 and the 4, and then I have a 4 left over, which I could either knock out one of these robot minions, or I could move over here to the 4 area in hopes for next round. Or I could use my superpower, which I can't copy anything. Nothing would really work there. You know what? I'm going to move down here to the power plant. I think I'd like to do that. Awesome. Very, very good. Cool. All right. Let's roll for round 3. Here we go. The roll is 2, 3, 4, 4. 2, 3, 4, 4. This is pretty good. I'm glad I moved down here. I'm going to start with a... Well, could I? No, I can't. I'm going to start with a 2. Just trying to see if I could use all of them. So I'll do 2, and then I need to do one that's higher or lower by 1. So I'll do a 3. Then I'll use a 4, higher or lower than 1, and I've got my first bonus die, wild die. And then now I could use my superpower I think I might. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to use my shapeshifter. So I'm going to turn this 4 into a 3. It lets me copy, lets me turn it into another die that I rolled this round. And I'll use that here. I want to try to exert as much as I can in one area. That's pretty good. That was a pretty good turn. Get my bonus die. So the roll is 2, 3, 4, 4 for that round. Very good. All right, are we ready for round 4? Tell me if I'm moving too fast. Here we go. The roll is 1, 2, 2, 4. You know what? I might just hang down here this whole time. This is great. I'm going to go 2, because it's 1 less than 3. I'll go 1 and get this bonus die. And then I'll go 2. And you know what? I might use my superpower again. That seems crazy, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to change this 4 into a 1. Magical powers. Okay, good. Thank you, Cody. Cody, what would I do without you, man? I'd be hopeless. I'd be helpless. Thank you. I appreciate you. All right. I'm hoping next round that I roll a 2 in the mix, because that would be awesome to finish off this, and then I could travel to another place. If I don't roll a 2, I'm probably going to use a bonus die. All right. I think my favorite thing about this game is getting to make your own person. That to me is just a hoot. All right, we're in round 5. Here we go. This will be the halfway point. All right, we did it. We're living the dream. 1, 2, 4, 5. All right, you know what I'm doing. 2. Boom. We got it. I'm going to go ahead. You don't have to do this, but just for fun, I'm writing it in already because we aren't getting any more points here. That is awesome. 21 points. We got it. All right, so I have a 1, 4, and a 5 left. I could use the 4 to travel anywhere since I'm in the 4 location. Or I could go to 1 or a 5. Well, what should I do? I think I'm going to start to spend some of my bonuses. I'm going to use the 4, and I'm going to use that since I'm in the 4 area to travel anywhere. I'm going to travel back to the 6 area. I have a 1 and 5 left. So I'm going to use the 5 up here. I'm going to do it. I'm going to transform the 1 into this 2, shape-shift it into the 2. I'll cross that off here. And this is great because I'm going to spend a bonus die to get a 6, and that automatically gets me that bonus die. So that was a break even. Ooh. And you know what? I was about to say I'm going to spend all my bonus dice here, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to roll for next round, and then what I roll, hopefully I get a 2, 5, and or 6. I'll fill those in, and then anything that I don't get, I'm going to use my bonus dice on. So I will have finished 2 zones, and I can travel somewhere else to go save the city. All right, this is going pretty well. I feel like it's good when you haven't killed any robot minions. I don't know, because they're only worth a point. I'm sorry if you've killed all the robot minions. Okay, we're looking at round 6. That was halfway. Let's do it. 1, 4, 4, 6 for round 6. 1, 4, 4, 6. Well, we got our 6. All right. And I'm going to spend 2 of my bonus dice to knock off this 5 and this 2. And guess what we did? We rescued our first bystander. Look how happy he is. He did it. We rescued him. You're safe now, bud. And since we went ahead and did that, we got both those points. I'm going to go ahead and mark the 30 down here. Okay. I have a 1, a 4, and a 4 to spend. I made a huge mistake. So I guess I could start to ascend the tower, or I could... I'm going to have to use my last bonus die to move, because if I go here and I have these 4s left, they aren't going to do anything. Here's the only negative of finishing out an area is when you roll that, it doesn't give you much flexibility. So I'm going to use my bonus die for my movement. I'm going to make it a 2. I'm going to go over here to the hospital. Shout out to all of our doctors and nurses, healthcare workers, saving the day. So I have a 1, a 4, and a 4 left to spend. I'm going to go ahead and do a 4 here and a 4 here. That gives me both these, including the bonus die. Bonus dice are great. You know, I'm going to go ahead and put a 1 here. Yeah, I felt good about that turn. I'm okay with that. All right, we're looking at round 7. Hopefully you're doing all right. All right, let's do it. Round 7, here's our roll. We've got a 1, a 3, a 4, and a 6. Well, that's great. I'm going to use that 1 right away here and get our bonus. So we have a 3, a 4, and a 6. Man, it's kind of awkward. It's kind of awkward. All right, I'm going to... The downtown is so hard because you have to get the exact number. Here's what I'm going to do. Yep, you can use the bonus as soon as you get it. Live it up. Oh, dropped my phone. Yeah, we're going to do it. I'm going to put a 6 up here. And then we're going to travel. I'm going to use one of my bonus dice to jump down to the warehouse. So what I have left is a 1, a 3, and a 4. I'm going to go ahead and use them here. So this has to be equal to or greater than the previous number. So I'll start by putting a 1, and then I'll do a 3, and I'll do a 4. This gives me some options. So if I roll high next round, some 4s, 5, a 6, you did it. All right. Impressive. I think that's the harder one to do. It's great because you get all those bonuses from saving the civilians. So next round, if I roll a bunch of 4s, a 5, 6, I can get pretty far along this track. If I roll a 2, I can jump back to the hospital in hopes to add another 6 in there. If I roll low, I think I may just go up here to 1. I'm trying to call my shot. All right, let's do it. Here's our roll for round 8. We've got 1, 3, 3, 4. Well, I got my 4. And, you know, this is good. This is fine. I'm going to spend the 1 to go up here to the, what is it, courthouse? Is that what it's called? City Hall. And I'm going to take this 3 and this 3. If I can get a 1 and a 2, I just get a bunch of 1s and 2s. That would be grand. For completing 1. Oh, that is for diagonal. Maybe there should be a little arrow. So that would be if you do this top left 1, the middle 2, and the bottom right 3, then you would unlock this bonus die. If you complete all of 1, then the bonus that you get is a civilian. That's what you rescue there. Cool. Gotta give a shout out to a couple of streamers that have inspired me to stream. M. Peebles, he's awesome. Mark Peebles, he streamed Super Dice Heroes a couple months ago, it was so cool to watch him play and to watch people play. And such a nice guy. Messages him on Board Game Geek. He's just so awesome. So I appreciated him streaming. And then Board Game Blitz, Ambi with them. She's been streaming. And also Luza Palooza. They streamed some. Just a big shout out to those folks. Seeing someone play your game, man, it's been 2020 has been tough for I think everybody, but that's been one of the highlights for me. It's been a really positive thing. So hopefully that's the hope. They've inspired me to stream and to share, and hopefully this can be a time for you to get to play a game, to be encouraged. All right, we're looking at round 9. Here we go. It is 2, 3, 3, 4. This was good. This is good because I'm going to spend that 2 right here. And then I'm going to spend one of my wild dice on this 1 to get this wild dice. Now I have some choices. I am going to spend this 3. That gives me some victory points. I have a 4 and a 3 left. I also have a wild die. Choices, choices, choices. All right, I'm going to try to go up the tower. We're going to go over here. I'm going to spend the 3 to move over to downtown. And then I'll put a 4 in here. I need all the 4s. I guess this is a positive. If you finish a zone, I finished the 4 zone, and then I'm using that number here. So if I roll a bunch of 4s, they have a purpose now. All right, this is it. This is the final roll. I'm going to see how many people I can save. I want more turns. 2, 5, 5, 6. All right, this is good. We've got a turn. So I'm going to go ahead and spend this bonus die where I am to put a 4 in. It's like I'm just going to the first floor. It's like I entered the lobby. I'm like, listen, I'm not saving anybody today. I just wanted to say hey. Now I'm going to jump over to the hospital, spend my 2. Then I've got 5, 5, 6. So I'm going to put a 6 here to pair those up. I'm going to put a 5 here and a 5 here to pair those up. All right. That's the game. So now you get to total it up. Let's see. Here I only got that for 1. So down here at the bottom you just coordinate with what the die is in that zone. So I got 4 points for 1. Over here for 2 I got 12 points. Pitiful showing. Over here in the downtown I got 2 points. If you see in this area, as you ascend it, it has the number next to it. You only get the highest number that you got. You don't get all the points of where it was. So I don't get 3 points here, I only get 2 points. That makes sense. 2 points. Down here I maxed out, so I get 21. Over here I got to 7. And then I got 30 for that. All your meeples, they count for you 5 each. So you can go ahead and do that. I only got 1. And I didn't get any minions. All right, how did we do? My score? 81. Pretty good showing. I'm sad I didn't save more civilians. I think that was my downfall. I think that was my mistake. 81! It's a tie! There's no tiebreaker. We could make one up right now. Whoever's superhero sounds cooler. No. Whoever killed more robot minions. There it is. There it is. That's what it should be. It actually probably should be who rescued the most civilians. Well done. I think you got me there, Cody. I see some other folks that joined in. If you're just watching, we're so happy to see you. Thanks for joining in. If you want to play this later, I'm going to post it to YouTube. I hope so. You can download it too. There's a QR code here. There's several ways to get to it. You can go to Beluga Bliss Games Twitter. It's listed there. You can look on BoardGameGeek.com. If you search it up on BoardGameGeek, it's available in the files there. Watch this. You ready for a transition? There we go. You can go to BoardGameGeek.com and you can download it from there. Here's the thing too. Let me say a couple things. That was good. That was the 81st point. Good. All right. You win. You got it. There's a couple of these roll and writes that I did for about 5 weeks. I made one each week, and I'm looking to play them in the coming weeks. Just kind of run through them. There's one called 9 Lives, where you're a cat entering a dungeon and you have 9 lives at it, 9 tries. Another one, Quarantine Haircuts. You're trying to decide if it's worth it to cut your hair during the quarantine. Super Dice Heroes, a game called Abstract. It's a paint by numbers game where you put your dice in and then some of the numbers are coordinated with colors and you make an abstract painting. And the last one is Paleontologist, where you are a paleontologist digging up dinosaur bones. So we'll play next week. I think we'll do Paleontologist next week. But let me say this too. Here is my goal. I want to provide a space for folks to get to play games together. That's why these games, they all scale infinitely. Anyone can play along. Also, I want them to be free. That's kind of my shtick with it. I don't want anyone to feel like they can't play it or aren't able to play it. Because you got folks from all different walks of life. As I was driving home, NPR was talking about unemployment and how many folks have lost their job. So lots of folks are struggling right now. So maybe playing a game for someone is just going to be the right break that they need. Let me say this too. I'm calling these games for good because they're free, and if you have the means to give back in some way, if you don't worry about it. But if you have the ability to, I'm just featuring some nonprofits that are doing some real good around the world. So the one for tonight is World Central Kitchen. Their website is wck.org. You can go to them, and they provide fresh meals for folks in great need that are hungry. So World Central Kitchen you can support. And let me say this too. Here is another thing I was looking towards is I've been working on a weekly episodic roll and write adventure. That it would be kind of like this, that you play one of the adventures, you play one room, and then the next week you get to keep your character, and it's like they're entering another room in the dungeon, and then you get to play another roll and write. But each roll and write each week would be pretty different, but you would get to be carrying this character along. So man, I've been working on this for the past couple months, and I think it has a lot of potential. I'm looking at starting that in January in 2021. So actually a few weeks away. Man, I can't wait for 2021. We're gonna make it. But here's what I just put together a Google form today because I would love any input. So if you're like, gosh, that sounds cool, I'd like to share something about that. Here is this Google form for Dice in the Darkness. That's the name that we've come up with for it. And with Dice in the Darkness, it's going to be run over 10 weeks. So this Google form, it has a couple of the rooms are already set. I got a couple of rooms, they're done, ready to roll, but all 10 are not fully set yet. So I'd love your feedback. If you have a specific room that you really think would be awesome, I've got a list of several ideas. You can checkmark them. And the ones that get the most, man, I'd love to do the ones y'all want to play. Also, there's a spot if you have a crazy idea for a room. What's great about these roll and writes is it's pretty it's pretty low key, right? I can do it all by myself, putting it together. And so if you have a crazy idea, man, I'd love to run with it, and we could do a fun room around that. So that's looking to come out in January. So if you want to fill out any of that info on that Google form, it's just a couple questions. Please feel free to there. All right, have I shared all the things? I think I have. You know, I was so excited slash nervous today getting ready for this, just because it's so fun. It's so fun. So I appreciate y'all joining in. It's so good to hang with y'all. And I think that's it for tonight. I think we've streamed enough. Our first game, first go. Yeah, we made it. Thanks for being here, Cody. Thanks for commenting. You can download these. Feel free to jump in and play those. If you have a sweet character that you made, you can take a picture and tweet it. I'd love to see it. It would be so fun to see those pictures. I didn't think about a sign off, but I think we're going to end. All right, this has been a joy. Thanks for joining in. I'll be back next Thursday at 8 o'clock Eastern Time for the next stream. I hope you all have a great evening and great weekend.